It's one of the most controversial things the NYPD ever did, the policy known as stop and frisk. And for the most part, that policy was supposed to have been discontinued.
That's because nearly all of the stop and frisks by police involved people of color. But now the practice is back. It's returned. The NYPD and the mayor say crime is down actually because of it. But a new report finds many stops are still unlawful. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles has more.
Eyewitness News went behind the scenes with the NYPD's neighborhood safety teams last year. The initiative launched in the 32 precincts that account for 80% of the violent crime in the city. But it is now under scrutiny by the federal monitor appointed to review stop and frisk policies.
It validates what our clients were telling us about their experiences with NST officers since the program has taken place.
In the report released Monday, the federal monitor writes, the results are disappointing. Too many people are stopped, frisked, and searched unlawfully. At the precinct level, commanding officers fail to identify and correct the unconstitutional policing. And the department's oversight is inadequate at all levels.
The monitor has basically asked the NYPD that they should be formulating a more in-depth plan on how to reach compliance.
The federal monitor's report says unlawful stops have increased 9% since 2020. In particular, the 41st precinct and Hunts Point and Longwood sections of the Bronx, lawful stops are exceedingly low.
City right now is down 24% in shootings, down 14% in homicides. A good part of that is by these neighborhood safety teams.
So when the monitor writes her report, we should also talk about how many of the almost 10,000 illegal guns we removed off our streets.
Mayor Adams Tuesday morning forcefully pushing back on the findings, pointing to 16-year-old Claudia Quate, killed by a stray bullet last week.
Too many young people are using guns. Too many young people are the victims of gun violence, and no one seems to care.
This is an opportunity for this administration and for NYPD to cultivate a culture of accountability.
Adams also noting unlawful stops have dropped from more than 600,000 to less than 15,000 since it was deemed unconstitutional.
We are not going to allow any abuse of the tools.
Darla Miles, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News, preventing overdoses, how New York City is changing the way it makes a life-saving drug free and available.
But first, Up Close is coming up this morning at 11 o'clock.
Here's Bill Ritter with a preview.
Good morning, everyone. Coming up on Up Close, so how much money does the MTA really need? This morning, the chairman and CEO of the MTA makes his case about fare hikes, cracking down on fare jumpers, and why he says congestion pricing is needed. So how much money does the MTA really need? Jano Lieber makes his case. Will it change any minds? Well, you be the judge. Also, what's next for Donald Trump? Another indictment, this time on federal crimes. We talked to New York Congressman Dan Goldman, the former lead counsel for Democrats in the Trump impeachment, who was also a prosecutor. It is a sad time for the country, no matter what your politics. It's all coming up on Up Close this morning at 11, and I hope you join us.